How was I collecting in 1987? What was I doing? We'll find out on today's episode of Baseball King Collectibles. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the studio. For those first timers here, and I got to tell you this every channel because I get new people coming all the time. I am not just a baseball card collector. I'm an autograph collector. I have over 10,000 in-person autographs. That's right, you heard me. In person. You have to be in front of me to sign it. That counts as in person. Otherwise, if somebody gave me something, it doesn't count. I have to see it signed. Thousands of autographs. You see celebrities as well. You see all the celebrities. I got thousands of celebrities, photos with them and all that. So you newcomers out there, go through some of my old videos. You'll check it out and, you'll see what I got. And have fun because you're going to enjoy it and you're going to go, wow. I bet you go, wow. All right? And if you don't go, wow, you're going to go, whoa, something different. So, all right. So let's turn back the clock. All right? Let's turn back the clock. 1987. That was a good year. Michael Jackson, Schwarzenegger was Terminator, all that. A good year. Ninja Turtles were coming around. Great year. All right. So, how was I collecting back in 1987? What was the mindset? What was I thinking? Was I investing and things like that? No. There was no investments unless you were buying vintage. Vintage was still where it's at. You go to a card show. Most tables have vintage. The newest stuff you'd see here and there. It was still always vintage, even back in the 80s. Loaded with vintage, because new stuff wasn't much. You had Topps, Flair, and Donruss, one set each. They all came out at the same time. One, wasn't like a series anymore. And that was it. You got your cards and that was it. It wasn't like they have, Topps has now, I don't even know how many sets they come out with a year. 15, 20, maybe more. It's insane. So, I still stick to the flagship Topps. That's my thing since I'm a kid. So, 1987. How did I collect? What was I thinking? What was I doing? Like I said, there was no investment. You bought what you liked. All right. You opened up a pack of cards. You went through them one at a time. Now you go open up a pack of cards. These guys till they see a color or something. What about all the other guys in the pack? You're not collecting. You are not a collector, all right? You're an investor or you're just looking to make something big or hit a big hit. You are not a collector if you open a pack like that, all right? I'm sorry. You're not. Don't even tell me you are because you're not. All right? Collectors don't do that. We look at each card because that's what we do. So 1987, like I said, very different. One set, it was not much to it. You went to a show, you bought vintage cards. Really, that was what you still filling in some vintage stuff here and there, completing some old sets, stuff like that. But investing in new cards was a new thing. It was just starting to become a little bit of a trend. And there were no, other than card shows, you had magazines to make purchases from. Sports Collectors Digest, Baseball Card Magazine. There was another one, a couple other baseball card magazines that were out. Topps had their own magazine out, and etc. But 87 was tough to collect. It wasn't like you go online and there was no online. There was no nothing. There was no auction houses. There was no nothing. It was so simple. There was no complaining. Everybody was just having a good time. And that way it should still be, but unfortunately it's not. And if you don't have a lot of money, you're not even going and buying new cards. It's just at that price for most people. So like I said, 87. All right. Oops. I got a sealed box here. I got several sealed boxes of these. Thank God I held on to these. These are turned out to be a good year. On the back, that's what you can get inside. Inside the cover, I guess, these cards. I don't know. That's what it says. So we'll see. A few of these. So, other than buying sealed boxes, opening packs, that's what most people did. And that's what most people were selling. They opened up their own packs and then would sell them at the tables. A quarter a card, 50 cents a card, $1 a card. And this is 87. There was no McGuire. There were in the set, but no one knew who they were yet. They weren't being chased after. It wasn't like, I got to load up on McGuire and Bonds. No, it wasn't anything like that. So I had a friend of mine at work. He was a card collector too. And he came in one day and he had a stack of cards like this. I said, what do you got? He says, it's all one player. I said, who? He wouldn't show me. He wouldn't tell me. I go, who you buy? It was a rookie, a Future Star, or Future Star Topps back in the day. He wouldn't tell me who it was. Who did it turn out to be? Dave Magadan, all right? Dave Magadan of the Mets, okay? He bought 100 Dave Magadans, and he brought them in. And Dave Magadan was hot at the time. He was just upcoming. He was a Met rookie. He was supposed to be big, Dave Magadan gonna win a batting title, many batting titles. Him and Greg Jeffries were going to win several batting titles between the two of them. So never panned out, of course. But, the way it turned out, he lost on that deal. What do we pay? I think it was like 10 cents a card to a quarter a card, somewhere in that range, depending on the player. Magadan was probably 10 cents a card. So he invested, $10 or something? Wasn't it? But $10 in 1987 was an hour's pay back then. So anyway, what did I get? All right. I said, you know what? That's a pretty good idea. He put that idea in my head. you know what, I should buy some players. Let me go on magazine, no, online. Let me go check out Sports Collectors Digest, which I was a subscriber for many, many years. I still am, actually. And they came out once a week, and the magazine was like this thick. It really was. And it was thousands of ads all over the country. That's where you bought. That's where you bought and trade mostly from that magazine. It was the hottest magazine, the biggest selling baseball card magazine around. And like I said, they survived. They're still around. So what did I buy? All right. I went online. No online. I went into the magazine. I flipped through the pages. And I started looking who's selling multiples of cards like that. Where can I buy 50 cards, 100 cards of a player, you know? So I found somebody finally. And this is what I got. And I didn't buy 100 of each. I just went for like the guys I thought would be not investment, the guys I like, the guys I thought could be future Hall of Famers. Because like back in the 80s, the cards of the 60s were worth not much. You can get a mantle cards for under $100 all day long back then. So, you know, you're hoping the cards you buy today turn into the next Mickey Mantle cards. They're worth $100 each. That's all you're thinking. You're not looking getting millions of dollar cards. No one was ever thinking that way. There was no such thing. There was no high priced cards back then even. So what did I buy? I'll start you out with, this is what I bought. It's looking back at it, silly. I could throw these, they're not worth nothing. All right? Probably worth less than what I paid for them at the time. I bought 10 of everybody. I bought 10 Keith Hernandez. All right? Why? I don't, he was the Mets leader at the time. He was hot. Everyone loved Keith at the time. And, I don't know. Now he's a Met announcer. I could get all those autographs. That would be really cool. I should do that. Go down to the stadium one day and, yeah, Keith, sign these for me. And then I got Ron Darling. Again, Ron Darling had 2 huge years in a row. I mean, Ron Darling was a big, hot pitcher back in the late 80s. Look at the numbers. You'll see it there. He was really big back in the late 80s. So next was another Met, and it was another Met up-and-coming pitcher who came off a great year. He was 16-6 with a good ERA. Sid Fernandez. Of course, didn't pan out again. He had some good years, but not the Hall of Fame type years. So this is what I was buying, all right? Probably 10 cents a card, I was probably paying $1 on each player, It wasn't much, but back then, Next up, we have Pete Rose. Not even his regular card, manager card. And the reason why I think a lot of stuff was sold out, so you only had what was available to buy. I probably would have bought the regular card, but that was all that was available. So I put the manager card, which I thought was a really cool card, and they are cool cards. It had the checklist on the back. These are very, back in the day, these were just cool, And on this stack here, we're on the stack with a Fernando. 10 Fernandos, all right? Again, 87s. They're not even worth, I wouldn't even look if I saw these somewhere for $1 for 10 of them. I wouldn't buy it. But back then you did. It was, wow, look at that. And I brought him into work. I showed the guy what I got and all that. He was, couldn't believe it. Wow. He ran out and got some. It was the players you like. You bought what you like. Next one up would say, no, that's a Hall of Famer. So at least I hit one on a Hall of Famer. Again, 87s. They're not worth nothing other than Bonds, McGuire, and they're not worth nothing. Unless Bonds gets to the Hall of Fame, might give a little uptick, I'm sure it will. Not much, but a little bit. Instead of a $2 card, Bonds can go to like an $8 card or something. Here's Gary Carter. All right, Hall of Famer, of course. Next up, we have another Hall of Famer, and this is just the All-Star card. Not even the regular version cards. It was the All-Star. I loved the All-Star cards back then. I always loved specialty cards and things like that, so 10 Wade Boggs. Next one up here is, he was Mr. October, of course. Who didn't want? And like I said, these are the big stars of the year, I didn't buy Ryan. Maybe they didn't. Like I said, maybe I only bought what was available that I liked. I don't even remember. We're talking 40 years almost. This stuff is 40 years. And these are all mint condition. These, they went right from where I got them, right from the box, right into, on my box. That was it. No penny sleeves, no nothing. We didn't do penny sleeves back in the day. Who needed penny sleeves? That was a waste of money. I don't even think they didn't even have penny sleeves in 87. I don't know. Maybe it was just coming out. There was definitely no hard cup, harder sleeves. Definitely not. You just put it in the sleeve and you put it into plastic, and that was it. A binder. Doc Gooden, of course, was Of course, anything Doc Gooden was so hot back in 1987. You couldn't touch Gooden cards. I might have paid $0.25 for these. I might have paid $2.50 for the 10 of these, right? Back in the day. What was on the back of these? Just the All-Star cards. It was just the legal strikeouts and all that. So, and I got one more. It's Donnie Baseball, of course. My favorite player at the time in 87. And he was just the best player in the majors at the time. Will he get into the Hall of Fame or not? We just did a video on that. Check it out, the last video I just did on that, and I think Donnie will get in. But, you know, that's how we did it in 1987. There was no rhyme or reason. You bought what you liked. That was it. It was simple, simple, simple. I wish collecting would be that way again. It's not. For me, it is. I simplify myself. I still just buy what I like. I don't invest in anything. I just buy what I like. There's no investment purposes for my collection. Just, I love it. Again, subscribe, like, come back for more autographs, many autographs. You got to see them to believe them. Check them out.